Hello and welcome everyone. Trexcapades here with a guide on how to go from a poor nubile citizen to a billionaire playboy philanthropist money-making powerhouse. I'm going to try and cram as much information into this video as I can to get you on your way to making a consistent 100,000 alpha UEC an hour. That is the in-game currency. If you want to skip ahead to different sections in the video, there are going to be timestamps in the description below, so feel free to skip ahead to what you want to see. First off, I want to say I think right now is a fantastic time to get involved in Star Citizen. In the last patch, they added persistence into the universe, which means the Alpha UEC, which is the in-game currency that you earn, will stay with your character between patches. So will the ships you buy or the cars you buy or anything else like that you buy, it should stay persistent now between patches, which wasn't in the game before. Also, server stability seems to be much better than it was about a year ago. A year ago, it was literally pulling your hair out all the time just to get one thing done. Now, you can go on 6-7 hour gameplay loops, making money, bounty hunting, whatever you want to do, and the servers are holding up quite well. So I think this is as good a time as any to get involved. There may still be complete wipes of your character when there's major architectural changes in the patches. I don't know. Think about how Tarkov does it. But for now, there is persistence, so you'll know that the things that you earn and the things you take out of the game should stay with your character for the time being. The strategy in this video will be both for brand new players and those already familiar with mining. The great thing about this strategy, it is very low risk and requires almost no startup capital and no real world money. If you own your own Prospector already, you can jump ahead to the section called The Route to get right into it. If you're brand new, I'm going to briefly lay out how to get mining effectively with a rented Prospector or one from a free fly event. To rent a Prospector for 24 hours, you will need 41,220 alpha UEC. The Prospector can be rented on Hurston at the Tisa Spaceport in Lorville. You're also going to want to slap a Hofstede S1 laser on it for another 12,750 aUEC, bringing the total cost up to 54,000 alpha UEC. I would suggest doing delivery, bounty hunt, and search missions to acquire the starting sum. Using the route I'll lay out in a minute, you can easily make your rental money back and a ton more. Using this strategy, I was able to buy my very own Prospector and now have over 2 million credits to spare as well. The reason behind the Hofstede laser is that it will be required to crack some of the bigger rocks on Yella where we will be mining. Also, it is much cheaper than the best mining laser, which is the Helix, coming in at 108,000 alpha UEC. Eventually, you will buy one of these to put on your own Prospector, but I don't recommend that head for a rented ship because they can get randomly lost when a rental expires or from bugs, and losing 12,750 is a lot easier to swallow than 108,000. Not to mention, once you get proficient at mining with the Hofstede, when you upgrade to the Helix, you're going to be in heaven. Okay, now you have 54,000 alpha UEC in hand, you've rented a Prospector, and you want to make the best out of your 24-hour window for your rental period. Everything forthcoming also goes for those who own their own Prospector, so don't worry. First things first, you want to head to the Gas Giant Crusader and pick up the Hofstede Mining Laser, unless you already have a better one, at Dumper's Depot on Grim Hex. Also, just by landing there, you'll make that your permanent respawn point, so if you die or something goes sideways, you're still going to be on Grim Hex. Once you buy the mining laser, bring out the Prospector from the terminal and head to the appropriate hangar. Once you sit in the pilot seat, access the vehicle loadout tab and will automatically populate with the Prospector. Slap on the Hofstede laser and don't forget to save your changes. Now you're ready to go mining. Now exit the hangar, pull up your landing gear, press K to switch off VTOL, and hook an immediate left through the asteroids. Spin up your quantum drive and jump directly to Yella. It will be the closest moon to you. Once you're there, pull up your star map and search for the Benson Mining Outpost and quantum jump there. This is my favorite area to mine, but a general tip for mining on Yella is to hit the big open flat white areas versus the darker mountain regions. This is just what I have found to work for me through much trial and error. Head down to the planet's surface, but be careful here because Yella doesn't have a lot of atmosphere, so your ship isn't going to handle very well. I usually keep my throttle a little bit into the yellow overburn region in order to get some boost, but not lose control. Once you're a few hundred feet from the planet's surface, switch to scan mode. You might want to take a look at your mining and scanning keybinds at this point, and hold down the scan button until the ring on your HUD fills up. Release it to send out a scan pulse across the terrain. Mineable areas will show up as blue outlined boxes. Head toward one of the outlined areas and cruise around until a rock symbol appears in that region. Point your nose at the highlighted rock and move closer to it until it is outlined in yellow. Then press and hold your Activate Scanning button, which is different than your Scan Ping button. This scan will reveal a bunch of information about the rock, but what we care most about is what is in the top right corner, where you can see what the rock is composed of. What we want to see is agricium or laranite listed first, or Quantanium for expert miners, but we'll get to that later. There are two values to the right of the listed mineral type. The first shows what percent that mineral is of the entire rock mass, and the second is how much of the non-inert material is composed of that particular mineral. All we really care about is the first number, and we want to see a value of at least 4%. If the rock is showing anything less than that, move on and save yourself some time. All right, now you've found a rock with greater than 4% of the minerals we want. It's time to flip down the old welding goggles and bust out the mining tool. Couple hints here. Sometimes you have to pull up the mining laser twice in order to get the heads-up display working. Also, if it's dark out, you can press L to turn on the ship's headlights. The mining head has two modes, a fracturing mode and an extraction mode. Since you can only extract small fragments of rock into your cargo hold, you'll have to use the fracturing mode to break the rock into smaller pieces. Usually, you'll have to do this twice. First, you crack open the big rock, then you'll crack open the smaller pieces once before you can start extracting. While you're aimed at a rock, if it's outlined in yellow, you still need to fracture it more. If it's outlined in purple, you can extract it directly into your cargo hold. To fracture a mineable rock, fire up your mining beam and aim it at the rock. On the heads-up display in the lower left, you will see laser throttle and rock energy level. On the bottom right of the HUD, you will see fracturing sensor and overcharge sensor. Laser throttle is how much energy is being pumped into your laser. You can control this with your mouse wheel. Rock energy level shows how much energy is being pumped into the rock from your laser and has 3 zones: a blue zone, a green zone, and a red zone. If you're in the blue zone, you are not applying enough energy to crack open the rock. If you're in the red zone, you're applying too much energy and the rock could go nuclear and destroy you, your ship, and your crew. If you're in the green zone, you're applying just the right amount of energy from the laser to crack the rock open safely. You can keep track of how close the rock is to breaking by looking at the fracturing sensor. When it hits 100%, the rock will break open. Be sure to keep a vigilant eye on the overcharge sensor as well. That shows how much extra energy is in the rock because you spent some time in the red zone. If this value goes above 10 or 20%, back up quickly and wait for the rock to cool off. If the fracturing sensor hits 100% while the overcharge sensor is above 10%, good luck to you. It's worthwhile to note here that some rocks are harder to break than others depending on their mass and resistance. A little trick to get more energy into the rock is to move closer to it or move the mining laser around on the surface of the rock to distribute energy over a larger area. Also, if you're having a little trouble keeping your laser in the green zone, you can try turning the laser off completely and spooling it up again quickly. Often you can get very fine control of the laser this way. After a few hours, you'll have your laser control down, no problem. So once you break open a rock, be sure to aim your mining head at all the smaller pieces and only break open subsequent chunks if they contain at least 8 to 10% of the mineral you want, in this case, agricium and laranite. Now this is important. Once you break down the pieces you want into extractable chunks, which will be highlighted in purple when you aim at them, only extract those that show 50% or greater of the mineral you want when mining agricium and laranite. With Quantanium, you can go down to about 10%. Trust me, if you get lazy and start sucking up pieces with lower than 50%, you're going to hurt your alpha UEC per hour earning potential. Repeat the process of scanning, fracturing, and extracting, looking for agricium and laranite, and following the percentages I've laid out, and soon you'll have a cargo hold full of valuable minerals. Time to blast off into space and back to Grim Hex. As you start to climb out of the moon's atmosphere, spool up your quantum and jump to one of the close satellites around the moon. I usually jump to OM4. Once there, you'll have an easier time actually targeting Grim Hex on the star map. It can be a bit buggy. After Grim Hex is targeted, jump there and land. The landing pads are on the opposite side of your approach vector, so you have to dodge through some asteroids and flying cables, but you'll get the hang of it really quickly. Before you enter the hangar, it can be helpful to take note of which hangar you are entering. There are large painted labels on the outside of each hangar. This will make it easier to find your ship after you hit the refinery and make your fat stacks. Also, be sure to turn on VTOL before entering the hangar, or you can lose control of the ship. Once you have landed the ship, you are good to go. Even if the game crashes, your Prospector will still have your valuable cargo in it. This is one of the many reasons I suggest mining over cargo for beginner players. Exit your ship and hit the lobby button on the elevator. Once down, take the next elevator to the main concourse, and just to the left, you'll see a sign for the admin office. Once you enter the admin office, there are 2 refinery panels on the right-hand side. Pull up the panel, select your Prospector, sell your valuable minerals, and profit. Little note here, sometimes these terminals will let you sell your cargo twice. I have no idea why, but I've had this happen several times and can't complain. At this point, if you notice you're low on water or food, just press backspace twice to kill yourself, and you'll respawn right there in Grim Hex, and your Prospector will still be on the pad right where you left it. Rinse and repeat this process, and you'll be well on your way to being a billionaire playboy philanthropist spaceman or woman. Now that you know the route that will consistently make you 100,000 alpha UEC per hour, I want to mention a few little tips and bugs to look out for. As we all know, one of the mini games in Star Citizen is getting around the bugs. So first, sometimes the volatile cargo light will pop on even when you don't have volatile cargo, which is only Quantanium at the moment. You'll see this displayed as a blinking yellow light in the top right of your HUD. If you see this and you're not hauling Quantanium, ignore it. It will go away. Next, if you're having a hard time trying to quantum jump to a location, just point your ship away and retarget. Usually it will let you jump on the second go. Finally, if you need to repair or refuel your Prospector and you're having a hard time doing so on the pad, try storing the ship and retrieving it and trying again. And now for a few tips. First, definitely learn to use your space brake. It can be a real lifesaver. Also, I always use VTOL when taking off and landing with the Prospector. But while on Yella actually mining, I leave VTOL off. I have found this works best for me. And now I want to talk about Quantanium mining. I would not recommend mining Quantanium until you have a Helix laser, because it is much more difficult to mine and has a very small green zone. Also, Quantanium is considered volatile cargo, so once you have it in your ship, you don't have a lot of time to get to a refinery before your ship goes kaboom. When the yellow light starts flashing in the top right of your HUD, you have about 15 minutes. When the red light starts flashing, you better move your ass and quick. To make mining Quantanium easier, you can pick up a mining head consumable called Optimum from Dumpers Depot at Port Olisar. You can equip it by going into your vehicle loadout manager under your mining head, and then use it on the fly by pressing Alt-1 while your laser is on. It will give you a 30-second window where the size of the green zone doubles, making it much easier to mine without overcharging. I suggest spooling up your laser, and when you get close to the green zone, smashing that consumable. Quantanium deposits are often found in big groups, so it's best to break them all down into extractable chunks before you start pulling them into your cargo hold. This will prevent you from being obliterated into tiny space chunks. As you gain more experience, you'll find that sometimes mining one large Quantanium rock and only filling your cargo up to about 50% is well worth it. Well, that about sums it up, guys. I hope you found this video super helpful to get you started on your way to being a billionaire playboy philanthropist space person. If you found this guide helpful at all, please interact by liking, commenting, or subscribing so I know whether I should make content like this in the future. I'm also a partnered full-time Twitch streamer, so definitely swing by and say hello at twitch.tv/Trexcapades. I stream 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Have a great one, and good luck in the verse.